Horns up and welcome to a brand new episode of Headbanger's Kitchen. Yes, you have read the title of this video correctly. It does say keto tomato soup, and yes, you can eat tomato when you are on the keto diet. Don't let the keto police or anyone else tell you otherwise. In fact, I have done a video about this and you can click here on the I button and watch it. Now, on to today's recipe video. Yes, we are going to be making a delicious keto tomato soup, and I have such fond memories of tomato soup. Let me tell you, if you are an Indian who has traveled by train, or if you have traveled by a train in India, I'm not talking about the Mumbai locals, I'm talking about the long distance trains. You must have had a cup of tomato soup. That's my memory of tomato soup, and I was very excited to make this recipe. In fact, I have to credit my good friend Anu from the UK for actually sort of giving me this recipe. She made it for me when I was at her house in the UK this year, and I was like, you know what, I gotta make this on the show because it's totally keto friendly and it's delicious. Anyway, enough jibber jabber, let's get cooking. So the first thing I'm going to do is fire up my stove and start heating up my wok. And in that wok, I'm going to add 50 grams of butter. Now, I'm using a wok so that you can see everything cooking nice and clearly, because when I use those big heavy bottom saucepans, it's a little difficult to film it because I don't have a professional setup. But yeah, you get the idea. So I'm using a wok. You can use a nice heavy bottom saucepan, no problem. Once the butter has melted, I'm going to add in 50 grams of onion. And I'm going to season it with a bit of salt because this always sort of helps bring out the sweetness of the onions. And of course, give it all a good mix and then let those onions cook. And now folks, you want to cook these onions on a medium-low heat, and you want to cook them low and slow and let them start to become translucent, and then they will caramelize and start to brown. And this is how you extract all the flavors from the onions. So just let it cook. Keep stirring it every minute or so. Be patient. You gotta treat this with a lot of love for it to come out really good. Trust me on that. This is what they mean by, there's love and care taken to prepare the food. You just gotta work it. Don't be hasty. Anyway, once those onions have been cooking for long enough and they start to get some color on them, I'm going to throw in about 10 grams of garlic. And I'm just throwing in whole cloves of garlic. You can mince the garlic if you like, but we're going to blitz this anyway later, so that's the reason I'm using whole cloves. And then of course I'm going to give it all a good mix, because that's what we do here on Headbanger's Kitchen. Now the next thing I'm going to do is add in about 300 grams of roughly chopped tomatoes. And now you're going to want to cook these tomatoes down, and this might take a bit of time, but it's worth it, trust me. And then you want to give it all a good mix. And you just want to take your time with this. You want to cook the tomatoes low and slow till they break down as much as possible. Get out all that rich tomatoey flavor from it. So you're just going to let the tomatoes cook for a bit uncovered. Once that's done, I'm going to cover it and cook it with a lid for about 5 minutes. After about 5 minutes, it's time to add in our spices, and I'm adding some black pepper powder, a very generous sprinkling of smoked paprika, for that lovely smoky flavor, and some pumpkin spice mix, or if you can find all spice mix where you live, that will do the job as well. Hey guys, so I'm just using a very generic pumpkin pie spice mix powder, which has things like star anise, cloves, cinnamon, nutmeg. So those are the basic spices. If you can't get the pre-mix, you can always sort of just add some nutmeg, some cloves, some star anise. All these things will give it a lovely flavor. Once that's done, we're going to give it all another good mix and make sure everything is well incorporated. And then just let it cook. Now I'm also going to add in about 100 ml of chicken stock. This is to help the tomatoes break down, and also when I blend it, it will be much easier to blend. Cover it and let it cook for about 10 or 15 minutes till the tomatoes have totally broken down. Make sure you keep opening the lid and giving everything a good mix once in a while. And finally, our tomatoes have cooked down, they're nice and soft. We're just going to let them cool now before we blend them. Once the tomatoes have cooled down, I'm going to put it all into my blender and then I'm going to blitz it. And you're going to get your lovely tomato soup. It'll be like a tomato puree actually. In fact, if you need be, add some chicken stock while it's blending so that it sort of gives you a very smooth texture. Anyway, once you're done blending that, I'm going to strain it back into the wok using a sieve. And don't worry guys, this is just to remove any of the seeds that are not sort of blended or any of the tomato skin that's left over. So make sure you sieve it. You'll get a lovely, smoother, richer soup. And of course, at the end, all you'll be left is with some like seeds and pulp. You can discard that, no problem. And that's our soup is almost ready. Now, depending on how thick you would like your soup, you can add in some more chicken stock or just leave it as it is. And then the final ingredient, like in all our soups, because we're on keto, heavy whipping cream. So I'm adding in about 100 ml of heavy whipping cream. Give it all a good mix. And that's it, my friends. Our tomato soup is ready. And I'm just going to finish it off with some freshly cracked black pepper, a little bit of cheese, and some chopped up basil, just for freshness. And that's it, my friends. Our tomato soup is ready and it looks, oh yeah, so good. Anyway, enough jibber jabber, time to taste. Alright folks, so it's time to taste this delicious keto tomato soup. And you will find the written recipe as well as the macros on headbangerskitchen.com. I'll leave the direct link in the video description box, which is just below this video. Also, I have calculated the macros in advance, and this entire bowl is 5 grams of net carbs, which I know is a lot for a lot of people, but it's a nice big bowl of soup. So if you eat half of it, it's only like 3 grams of carbs. Anyway, enough jibber jabber, time to taste. Yum. Oh wow. Oh, those basil leaves, they pop, and how. This soup is so rich and so creamy, and you get that lovely sort of the spices, but it's not spicy, but you get that lovely sort of those aromatic flavors of the spice mix. You know what I'm saying? Yum. I hope you guys are going to make this. I'm sure I've got soup all over my mustache. Anyway, enough jibber jabber. I will see you on the next episode. Cheers and keep cooking. Hey folks, a little fun fact about me. I've been a musician for 18 years of my life, and I've put out 14 albums in my career, and I would be so grateful if you check out some of my music. If you enjoy heavy metal, of course. If you don't like heavy metal, then I'll understand. Watch some more Headbanger's Kitchen instead. Anyway, cue the music in 3, 2, 1.
A dream does often belong to one, a chosen path.